Hi, and welcome back to the Meaningful Money podcast. Just me this week, at least for the intro and outro, because this week I'm having a conversation with my great friend, Andy Hart. Andy will introduce himself in just a second, but he's here basically shilling his new book, which has been a long time coming. I've been talking with him about it for years, it seems. But it seems like the timing of it's going to be perfect. He sent me a pre-production copy. It's great. I was smiling throughout because I know Andy really well and I can kind of hear it in his voice. But Andy is a brilliant communicator and he's superb at distilling things down into really easy to remember and properly impactful ways. So I think you're going to enjoy my conversation with him. It's basically a chat between mates about a cool new project that one of the mates has been working on. So here's me and Andy Hart. Enjoy. Well, I don't know exactly how many times my good friend Andy Hart has been on the Meaningful Money podcast, but it's always a pleasure and it's great to have you back, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, my friend. I think it's maybe my definitely third, maybe fourth.
Yeah, was the first one the infamous one?
The infamous one, yes. What was it called? A Little Bit of Knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
That went down like a lead balloon in some places.
Yeah, in some places, but others really liked it. But anyway, it's a long time ago now, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the most common reaction was you were literally talking about me. I felt like you were talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
And like 1,000 people said the same thing. So
yeah,
I think
that's right. Yeah,
we hit a nerve.
We definitely did, but that's not always, people don't always like that, do they? But anyway,
yeah.
Look, man, many people listening to this and watching this will know who you are, but you want to just give us a quick summary for those that don't?
Yeah, so my name's Andy Hart. I'm a financial services lifer. I've been in the money business for about 20 years. Like yourself, Pete, I'm a regulated financial advisor. So I run a small firm called Maven Advisor, sort of based in and around London. And then I also do quite a lot of work within the financial planning community for other financial advisors. Hence, like yourself knows me. And the main brand I run there is a sort of play on words called Humans Under Management. And we mainly provide marketing content for financial advisors and we run conferences. So that's, I suppose, the brand that's probably having the most impact as we work with financial advisors all around the world. And but it's all a similar thing, you know. Better client outcomes with money.
Exactly. Love it. And we've been mates for ages. So we were in a mastermind, weren't we, years ago with Chris Marr and Richard Tubb and a couple of other guys. Yeah. So that's at least
15 years.
Yeah, at least. Well, and part of that is because you were an early Twitter adopter in the profession as well, weren't you, I think?
Oh, that was like 2008, remember?
Yeah, right. So, we've known each other a long time, and I'm going to be slightly gushing about you right at the start, right? Because I've on record as saying this quite a lot of times. I don't think there's anybody better in our profession at distilling complex financial truths and things to know into super simple, pithy, memorable quotes. And I think that's a superpower, right? Honestly, communication is so important. It's the nub of what we do, being able to sort of communicate in a way that resonates and, crucially, changes and affects behavior. And I don't think there's anybody better at it in our profession than you. So I find myself saying stuff that you have said all the time. It's honestly, I think I've done like 2 or 3 episodes of Bank of Dad, my new podcast with my daughter Kate, and at least I think I've mentioned your name twice already in 3 episodes.
Oh wow, that's amazing!
Because I keep talking about businesses and bricks, which is your thing. And I always say that. So anyway, look, man. So that being said, I am delighted because you've written a book. Right?
Yes,
and I think this has been a long time coming, and I'm really glad. If you had to kind of elevate a pitch for the book, super quick, what would you say?
Well, the book is called. Can we swear on the podcast?
No.
Okay,
well,
the book is called No BS Money Advice.
Thank you.
So I hope the title captures it. That the SH has got an asterisk and T. So that's how you search for it. So it's a book about money, but it's focused on the person. And that being that, in regards to money, financial success, you are the problem as in the individual, but also the great news is you are the solution. And I suppose I'm pitching it as if you're going to only read one book about money, then maybe this is the book. There's a lot of other books out there that are obviously focused on the mechanics of what we do and the 14 different ISA styles and all the different funds and where you can buy them. but mine is really for the individual, and it's all around their behaviour, their mindset, their thinking, and I've tried to distill 20 years of the business into 165 pages, 5 hours of book. So that's it.
It's great. It's a dead easy read, and it's a quick read, which is great actually. But it's also a book that people are going to be able to dip back into, and you actually actively encourage them to do that towards the end. So you were kind enough to send me a copy, which I've read in full.
Thank you.
I haven't skimmed. I read it in full.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, which was quite challenging actually, because I had it in PDF and I put it on my Kindle, and it means you can't quite change the font size quite so well. So I was like, I'm getting old, man. I was squinting at my Kindle screen, thinking I should have just read this on my laptop. Look, but I mean, I feel like you and I have been talking about you doing this for ages. So why now? Why has it come to sort of this point?
I mean, it's been a bit of an ordeal, if I'm being totally honest. I've created quite a lot of content in my life. I did a podcast that was a weekly show that I did 300 episodes. I've run conferences, but I found the book really hard to put together. So other people might be way better at putting books together than doing podcasts. You've all got your different skill sets. So know thyself, I suppose. But I've been faffing around with this book for about 7 years, and then in those 7 years, I've had quite a few life events. I've had children. I've got divorced. I've moved house 3 times. My businesses have been flying. Lots has been going on. So. Anyway, so 7 years, and the last 18 months I've been working with a publisher because I thought I'm not going to get this over the line unless I sort of work with someone to keep me accountable. And I feel it's quite an interesting time, actually. I don't know about you, Pete, but I am being bombarded at the moment with direct-to-consumer investment platforms. Every second advert on the radio. Someone sent me a message this morning, said, I'm standing I'm on the tube and I'm looking around and all I see is adverts for pension companies, investment companies, trading companies. They are throwing an incredible amount of marketing spend at the end consumer at the moment. So I feel like the tides are turning and people are realizing that they need to invest to, plan for their retirements, financial futures. So the sort of stars have been aligned really for this book to come out. It wasn't a master plan.
No, because I was going to ask you why this book and not, some other kind of approach. But I mean, it's like the stars have aligned slightly because you and I know, because of what we do, and I bang on about it, and I know you do as well, is that essentially the money's the easy bit. The practicalities. It's never been easier to invest, to open a pension, all that.
Yeah, but minimal friction. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, compared to, I've been around long enough to remember that you used to have to send checks and
a 30-page
forms.
application form, get 4 people to sign it. Yeah,
yeah, right. Whereas now you can open an ISA in 90 seconds on your phone.
Yeah,
but the thing that is constant, it does not change, is the fact
human nature.
It's human nature. Yeah. So. And this is a real thing of yours. Obviously, you teach advisors how to address this, and you're a real sort of student of how humans behave around money. So I guess this is sort of timed perfectly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's timed perfectly, but that's accidental. There's no master plan behind that. If I got my arse in gear, I would have probably ship this book in 2021. The fact that I've just taken so long to just drag this out. But I think it's about right. But I don't know about yourself, Pete. Once you've written the book, then you read it back, you think, you're never 100% happy with it, are you? No, you always think, I should have put that section there. And, I've got a new idea now. And you think, where does that go? And you're like, right, just leave it alone. You've made the lasagna. You now need to let people eat it. Just constantly tweaking around with stuff. So, hopefully it's going to land at a good time.
I'm sure it will. On that, actually, I'm contracted to update my first book, and so now I do have the opportunity to.
Oh, wow!
Actually, I would have said that slightly differently now, or update it, which is cool. So maybe, that'll be you in a few years. Look,
yes.
I want to pick out just a few bits. I really just kind of want to give people a sense of the book. Anybody that's listened to your podcasts will know that you're quite straight talking, which is one of the things I admire about you. And so I want to just sort of whet people's appetites a little bit. So just to pull a couple of things out, you talk about financial levers. This is another thing which I'm sure I got from you. I talk about levers all the time. So what are the levers? Because you have a list which I think is brilliantly comprehensive and very sort of very effective. So what are the financial levers that people can pull to make a difference in their
Yeah,
financial
great.
situation?
I cover this quite in depth in the book.
Yeah.
So basically, how can you fix your future money worries, money problems? What levers, what dials can you move? I think the other thing with our business is humans are not born with an expiry date. And that causes a whole host of problems because people don't know if they've got 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months, or 10 years, or 40 years left on planet Earth. So it's that balance between enjoying now, spending your money, but planning for the future and trying to get that balance right. So if, let's say, you build a very high-level financial plan for someone and say, this is what you're spending, this is how much assets you've got, and you're going to run out of money at 78, let's just say, or 75, keep it simple. So that individual, that client has financial levers that they can now pull. And some of these levers you're in control of and some of them you're not in control of. And some of them require an actual change of behavior and some of them require a change of mindset. And if you can change your financial future through mindset, that's a lot more beneficial than actually physically changing your behavior. So some examples here. The first lever is where you can just die sooner. Well, obviously, that's not going to happen. You know, a client says, you probably sit down with clients every day, Pete, and they say, what age are you killing me here? And you say, whatever age you are. And they say, I'm never going to make it. I think I'm going to get to 84. But then for the first 10 minutes of the meeting, they've been telling you about their mum and dad who are in their early 90s.
Yeah, right.
And this is 2026. You think, look, with the advances in AI, technology, medicine, you might live to 120, my friend. So as shocking as it sounds, that's maybe where we're heading. So die sooner is a financial lever you're not in control of. I think in America they call it silver bullet planning.
Nice.
Like they actually can potentially plan for this with a little bit more accuracy than ourselves. The next financial lever is spend less. Spending less has a huge impact on a financial plan, but you know, we're lifestyle financial planners. We want our clients to enjoy their money, spend it while they can, you know, the go-go years in retirement. So it's a bit of a depressing lever, but it has a huge impact on financial plans. And some clients can obviously do that because maybe that's within their control. The next one is earn more. Earn more. A lot of people say, well, I can't earn more. I work in a certain job, certain career, certain profession that I'm restrained or there's constraints on that. Whereas if you can earn more, obviously, you know, it's going to be good news for your financial plan. But the key with earning more is if you earn more, you then need to ideally invest the difference. Yeah, if you just earn more, you know, you're going to get into problems. The work longer is another financial lever that people can do and achieve. You know, I'm a big fan of people not 100% retiring, you know, having a full-on busy career and then Friday full-on busy, Monday they're retiring to maybe nothing or not much. So if you run a business and you have 100 clients and you can go down to 15 clients or whatever in retirement, I'm a big fan of that. But working longer has a massive impact on a financial plan because it's this weird financial alchemy where you have one extra year of earnings, which means you have one extra year of saving and you have one extra year of not drawing down on your capital. Yeah. So it's this weird 1 + 1 + 1 = 10. It has such a weird impact on a financial plan. And it's annoying because I sometimes sit down with real clients and say, if you worked for an extra 1 year, you know, your net worth would be like £2 million more. And they go, how does that work, Andy? I'm only on whatever I'm on. And I go, it's this weird financial 1 + 1 = The other one is invest more. This one has, does move the dial. And most people are never investing too much. You know, I came across a client actually the other day, Pete. The first time this has ever happened. I said, you need to increase your, you know, investment and pension contributions, you know, good financial behavior, do it every single year. And they were paying this much. And I said, well, what do you want to increase it to? And you know what they said? Have you ever heard this? They said, let's double it.
Oh my gosh. No, normally we have to work pretty hard to get them to do that.
Yeah, you say incremental, like 20% up, 25% up. Anyway, so they said double it. And that was the first. So obviously I said, let's move on. The next one is a mindset shift, getting a better investment return. And the only way you're going to get a better investment return is if you move your assets into a higher returning investment portfolio, which is basically increasing your allocation to global equities. So that's one that you are in control of. And if you tweak your portfolio to higher returning asset classes and you get an additional 1% a year compound, like my lord, that has a big impact on financial plans. And there's a couple of other ones that you may or may not be able to do, which is receive a large capital inflow. And the only really ways to do this is selling a business or inheriting money. Sure. I mean, obviously lottery and other random things, but generally big inflows are either, selling a business or inheritance. The other thing that does have a big impact on financial plans is when people downsize or right size in the future. Yeah. But that only works if you have high property values. So let's say you have a tiny 3-bed semi-detached in London, it's worth 2 million quid, and you buy a flat that's worth £1 million, you have cleared a lot of currently tax-free money. Yeah. And then the other one is releasing money from your home, which is equity release. And I'm a huge fan of equity release, and I believe it's going to become a bit of a wonder product in the future. And then the final financial lever is a combination thereof. So as me and you know, working with real clients, you don't say, oh, what financial lever are you going to pull here to get you over your financial finish line? We just say, look, I think you should increase your investment allocation to this. Therefore, that's a tiny lever there. You should increase your investment contributions and maybe work 1 year longer. So it's a combination thereof. And financial planning is an art. I mean, there's some science behind it. People say, well, what lever shall I pull? It's like, it depends on your situation. It depends on you. It depends on, so that's financial levers in a nutshell.
Really good. And some are in control, some are not. You mentioned there, it was almost a throwaway comment, probably because you had some idea of what questions coming next. But you mentioned that earning more sometimes kind of isn't the answer. And in the book, you're quite explicit about this. You say actually, pay rises can be detrimental to a financial plan. So do you want to explain what you mean by that?
Pay rises are absolutely detrimental to financial plans. Okay, so let's play this scenario. Let's say you got a pay rise, Pete. You were doing great work, and I said, I've worked out your pay rise, Pete, and you're going to end up with £500 a month after tax, extra. This is your new pay. Now, that £500, ideally, you should invest some of it, save some of it. Yeah. But what does a typical person do that receives a £500 pay rise after tax? They've already earmarked. They've already earmarked the money. They've already decided to join that slightly more expensive gym. They're going out that night. Yeah, so that money's probably accounted for. But let's just play on the scenario that they say, oh no, I should invest some more of this. I'll speak to Peter or Andy and I'll increase my investment contributions. They're probably going to do 100 quid. Yep. So 20% of the 500 they're going to do. Some might do 200. But that's very rare. On average, across everyone in the UK, if you gave them a £500 pay rise, they'd probably save £100 of it, which means their lifestyle costs have gone up by £400 a month. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a problem. Now, and that will be continued forever, because once you start spending that additional money, it's basically baked into the pie. So now your lifestyle costs have gone up by £400 a month, lifestyle creep. Now you have a bigger investing target to hit when you want to reach financial independence. So for 95% of the population, pay rises are generally bad news. If, on that scenario, the person said, do you know what, Pete? I want to invest £251 out of that 500. That pay rise has been good news for them because they're investing 51% and they've increased their lifestyle by only 49. So basic maths would say that a pay rise for that individual has been good for their financial plan. But if you are saving and investing anything below 50% of the new pay rise, it's generally bad news for your financial plan. Whereas most people think, I've got a pay rise, this is going to be great for my financial future. It's like, no, it's great for your current financial situation. But in the future, you've got a higher target.
Higher target. I love
target.
That. That's the sort of thing that I think this is part of the way your mind works. And the fact that you say it as boldly as that, I think is super powerful. I've been asking that question across the country to financial advisors, and I say, you're all financial planners. Is a pay rise good for your clients? And they all say, yeah, of course it is, Andy. Well, how can it not be? And I say, is it good for their financial plan? And they say, yeah, it's great for their financial plan. And I say, okay, let's work through the numbers. And at the end, they go, yeah, pay rise is not that good for your financial plan. No. And they do this day in, day out. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's the sort of the opposite approach of thinking about things, which is super useful. Yeah. You have... we're bombarded with media, investment ideas, fads, and, just endless amounts of stuff that we could do with our money. you have a mantra. If an alternative is not overwhelmingly compelling, then the answer is to stick. You want to talk to me about it?
Yeah, this is, I suppose, decisions in life, forks in the road. I think they say, most humans, most individuals have 5 or 6 huge, big decisions to make in life. Where to live, what career to have, who to marry, when to have children, to move again, to change careers. These are big sort of forks in the road. And a lot of times clients have these decisions and dilemmas. They say, right, this is what's been proposed, Andy. Let's say a new career opportunity. So, for example, let's say the individual says, I've been asked to work, I've been offered a new job. The money's not that much more, it's quite similar. It's in a city that I'm unfamiliar with, and I think someone I know has previously worked with this individual is going to be my boss, and apparently he's not a very nice person. It's like, well, okay, so what's been proposed to you, you're going to take a huge risk here, go to a new city and work for potentially someone who's a bit of a not nice person. So what you've been offered is not compelling enough, so you stick. You don't twist unless it's clearly compelling. If it was, I've been offered a job where it's a 25% pay increase, it's with a person that I'm super excited to work under, and it's in a city I've always wanted to live at. It's like, oh my God, that's overwhelmingly compelling. Yeah. So you twist on that. So financial decisions, life decisions, career decisions, if what's been offered to you is not overwhelmingly compelling, then you just stick with it. A similar thing to that, I don't know if you're going to mention it, but something called split decisions. Again, I don't know if you come across this with clients. Clients often have these situations where, for example, they've inherited money. Keep it simple. They've inherited £100,000, and you've heard this many, many times, Pete. I've inherited £100,000. I don't know if I should invest it or pay off my mortgage.
Why does it have to be that binary?
It is that binary. And then you say, okay, but in this situation, because you're unsure of between A and B, why don't you split the decision? Why don't you invest £50,000 and pay £50,000 off the mortgage? And then the individual says, what, really? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Of course you can. I mean, you can't split a decision of, do I buy car A or car B? You can't have half a car. No. But a lot of times, they go, oh, I've got a pay rise. And I'm just agonising over, do I pay it into my pension or ISA? I mean, obviously, if one of the options are clearly the winner, then you propose that one. Whereas other times you say, well, why don't we just split it? Do, £100 at the ISA, £100. And they go, what, really? I can do that. So split decisions are also, if you can split a decision, it's great because then you have less regret. You think, oh, God, have I done the right thing here? I shouldn't have paid it off the mortgage. You think, well, you didn't. You only did half. So you did half the good decision and half. So, exactly. I mean, it's quite a small thing, but these split decisions, again, clients, our job is to remove their financial anxiety. Money brings anxiety, decisions bring anxiety, in that sense. So the more we can remove that, the better. So there'll be a lot of times in life when you can split a decision and it's liberating once
it really
people
is.
Do it.
Quite often that split decision kind of buys you time. You can always, do I stick money in an ISA or do I pay off the mortgage? Well, if you split the decision, you could always pay off the mortgage later with money that's grown in an ISA.
Exactly.
Right?
You kind of gives you a few more options in the future.
Yeah, which is never a bad thing. Cool. All right. I remember doing I'm pretty sure there's a video of your financial 10 commandments with your permission and with you a reference and everything. Because I love these. So, again, I just want to pick out a couple. I'm trying to give people a sense of the book for those that don't know you. So there's a couple of your sort of investing 10 commandments. The stock market rewards the patient and punishes the rest. I quite like the fact that it's the rest. It's everybody else. It's not just those who are diligent or whatever, or those who, sort of properly diversify. It's patience that matters. You want to talk to me about that?
Yeah, I mean, this should be our battle cry, shouldn't it? Really,
really
study after study shows us that the longer you're, invested in the stock market, the more you'll be rewarded. I think it's about, is it 22 years where there's a 100% chance of never losing money? Again, just the further out you go. Yeah. So the key two things are patience, because the stock market is a get rich slow scheme. There are obviously lots of other ways to make money, but for most people, they just have the option of allocating their money, allocating their capital to either a cash or an investment sort of allocation. And discipline's the other thing. So patience and discipline are the two key skills to be a successful long-term investor. And the market will test you, it will challenge you. You know these numbers, but people listening may not. The stock market generally goes up 75% of the time and generally temporarily declines 25% of the time. These are great odds, long term. There's extreme volatility each year. So I think on the last 50 years, the stock market has declined within the year by minus 16%. But then still, most of those years, it's finished positive. Last year, we had a minus 19% in 2025 during the Trump tariffs. So these are baked into the pie. We don't want our clients to be surprised when they first start investing, because a lot of the times we have a challenge of switching people from savers to investors. They've been savers all their life. They understand cash. They even understand inflation and that it eats into their cash. But when you switch them to become an investor, you want them to be eyes wide open and know what to expect. So anyone who doesn't have patience will not be a successful long-term investor.
Yeah, no, I quite agree. I quote, "Having and updating a financial plan is paramount. Having a portfolio is not a financial plan, and outperformance is not a goal." I think you're the only person I've ever heard say outperformance is not a goal. Plenty of people couch it in waffly terms and that, but it's like, we're not even aiming for outperformance.
Yeah, how do you define outperformance? That's for a whole other podcast. The planning process is where all the value is. Yeah. Where you become very conscious about your money. You, for maybe the first time, discuss your money. You lay it all out. You work out all of your income streams, when they're going to stop, when they're going to start, your expenses. Conscious about what you're spending, what your assets are doing. And producing a static financial plan is nice. It looks fantastic and it's a bit of a snapshot in time, but that's not where the value is. It's the constant iteration and tweaking, over time, at least annually updating your financial plan. You're having a financial MOT at least once a year. The rest is just servicing and tinkering. Outperformance. Obviously you want to get a great return with your money, but, your goal is to, achieve all of your life goals, transitions, and to get over the financial finish line. Yes, you want a great investment return, but just focusing purely on what's the portfolio done in isolation of a financial plan is going to cause you a lot of stress, and you're sort of focusing on the wrong thing. So the financial planning process is more important than the actual plan that it produces. So
still, I get people approach us leading with the investment.
And what do they say? Like, what returns did you get last year, or what?
I might not ask it quite that boldly, but it'd just be like, I'm really interested to know how you can help me invest. My pension, or I'm coming into
optimize. They say optimize a lot.
They do say optimize, but I hear myself say that quite a lot, so I can't bitch about that. Really.
Okay, right?
So I'm the problem there, not the cure, right?
No, that's all right. Yeah,
but often it's just. I'm sure it's the same with you. It's kind of the way it seems to work is that people approach us with a single issue. Very often it's investment led.
Yes.
Advisors do, right?
Money in transition,
Yeah. Whereas, I'm fortunate, I guess, in that most people have listened to the show long enough and they understand that financial planning is where
so they approach you in the right way.
Yeah. But still, it's just nice to hear that it really isn't about outperformance. Essentially, you also say that, if you're sort of tracking global markets, given a decade, you will have had a better return than 90% of your neighbours. But given 2 or 3 decades, you'll have had a better return than 99%.
Basically just basic maths.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fantastic. It's the magic of it, in it, really. But towards the end of the book, or at the end of the book, you kind of, I feel like this could have come out of a sort of fever dream, and you just sort of woke up and wrote it, because it's just this sort of. Here is everything in 5 minutes. I feel like it's the sort of ultimate expression of your ability to condense pretty much everything you need to know in what you call a 5-minute money message. I kind of feel like there's a story behind it. I mean, there might not be, right? But how did you come up with this?
Yeah, that was sort of accidentally, in hindsight, probably my best work. So the 5-minute money message, I think it was basically built through constraints. I had to produce a podcast that week, and it was sort of bubbling in my mind, and then I sort of hashed it out and sketched it out. And this is way before AI, so this is all, all my own work. And I just thought, I'll just do a very short show. And it was actually just about 5 minutes. As I say, it was built through constraints. I think, again, constraints are great. Yeah. I've been saying lately that I'm sure there's a Saudi Arabian football team that's got a gold bus, and they're like, "What? Why have we got this gold bus? Oh, I thought we'd want the gold bus." And a team like Brighton that's run by a very smart business person, I'm sure they've got like a 10-year-old old bus. Yeah. So no constraints, you've got a gold bus. Constraints, were a very successful football team. So it was just through constraints, really, and I put it together, and I often come back to it and think, this is sort of it in a nutshell.
It is.
So I needed to pad out the book a bit, so I've got about 5 extra pages at the end.
No, it's brilliant, and it's like, actually, if you read nothing else, that would give you tons of value and stuff to just kind of seat deeply in your mind and soul as you pursue sort of financial independence and freedom and success. So, no, I think it's cool, man. I'm smiling to myself reading this and think I can hear this in your voice. And it's like the ultimate distillation of essentially what we do and how we help people think, isn't it?
I think because you're an insider and obviously a certain level of experience, the 5-minute money message probably hit you. It's a bit like, I don't know about you, but that that Wear Sunscreen song that's doing the rounds at the moment. Everyone's saying, I listened to this at 25. I had no idea what the bloke was talking about. Now I listen to it at 45. It's just everything of my life. And I'm listening to it about 45 thinking, this is actually bang on life. But it's, what's it? Education's wasted on the young.
Yeah, well, that's what they say, don't they?
The older you get, you want to consume stuff. So cool. That's the final chapter of the book. But no, thanks, mate. That means a lot.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm delighted that this is going to finally see the light of day, and I think actual launch day is the day after this episode will come out, so that's pretty cool. That's very fortuitous. Thank you very much, my friend. Timing. No worries. So what's next for you, man, before we just tell people where they can find out about the book?
Much of the same, really. This is my big project this year. Obviously, I still look after clients and, deep in the weeds with client work. I've got my 2 conferences. I've got Humans Under Management in Cape Town, Humans Under Management in London. This year in London, we're going to go full guns again. I've got a live podcast in May, which you're coming to. We saw that the Podmaster has purchased his ticket, and also you are a trap guest as well, so that's great. Just busy really on all fronts, but it's doing what you're doing, Pete, banging the drum for better client outcomes, people making better decisions around their money. We're still waiting for the OBE or the MBE for you, mate. It will be coming, I am very sure. And
this is 16 years since I started Meaningful Money this year, and I'm 28 years as an advisor. So it's amazing, really. God, I had colour the same.
I'm half and half at the moment. I'm salt and pepper at the moment.
Cool.
Right, can I shoehorn where people can buy the book?
Yeah, no, that's going to be my next and final question, man. Where can people find out and buy the book?
I mean, the main place is Amazon, so just search Andy Hart, No BS Money Advice. But there is a dedicated website that hopefully you can put in the show notes. It's nobullmoney.co.uk. nobullmoney.co.uk, and there's a couple of other resources and various things there. But if you could buy the book, it will be hugely appreciated. And if you've got any questions or queries, you can contact me via that nobullmoney.co.uk and LinkedIn, Twitter, and all the other stuff. But
of course.
Thank you so much for getting me on, mate. For
no worries, man.
Me schlepping my book. But
it's all right. No, I'm delighted to do it because it's been a long time coming, and timing is perfect, and I'm excited for you to get out into the world. So keep doing what you're doing, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, my friend. Cheers. Thank you.
Easy.
Bye.
Okay, cool. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks to Andy for coming on, and all the very best of luck with the book. I know it's going to be great. So remember, the link for the book itself is nobullmoney.co.uk, and we'll make sure that the link to that and all the other links are on the show notes to this episode, meaningfulmoney.tv/session611. meaningfulmoney.tv/session611. Everything you need is there. My thanks again to Andy. Thanks to you for listening. We'll see you next week, probably for another Q&A. Haven't fully decided when I'm recording this, so we'll see. But see you next week. Thanks for watching.